kind of share like what God did there, I kind of want to explain a little bit about what we did. So we went alongside of like another ministry in Mexico where basically they pick a family who, you know, is living in poverty, and we're going to build a home for them. So we were only building a home for 5 days, and like, I'm gonna be honest, like in my head, I was like, there's no way our team is gonna build a home in 5 days. I can't do it. I was like, that's not gonna happen. But God made it happen, and it was just so incredible to see this family who was literally living in cardboard. They couldn't even own the cardboard home that they were living in. They're actually renting it. And so we were able to go over there and be the hands and feet of God and build a home for them. Like, it was just the most incredible thing ever. And so I feel like that's one thing that God taught me, like, even when you're doubting, like, I'm going to use that and turn it into good. Another thing is there was a lot of spiritual warfare while we were over there, a lot of drama. Like, the enemy was totally just trying to creep in and destroy everything that God was trying to do on this trip. Every single day something new was coming up, and I was like, oh my gosh, God, like, I can't do this, I can't, my heart hurts so much. And one verse that like God, I think it's a song, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember, but one thing that God was putting on my heart was like, what the enemy intended for evil, God intended for good. And so God took some of those broken relationships and just hard situations that were happening on our missions trip, and he was turning it totally for his glory, and we were able to just see God work so much on this trip. On top of that, we were also able to serve at a church. And it was just so much fun being able to play with the kids. One of my favorite moments was when we were in like the main sanctuary, and Pastor Mike from the Spanish ministry, he was about to give his sermon, but before he did, we were doing worship, and all the worship, like 90% of it was in Spanish, and I'm Mexican, but like I don't speak Spanish like at all. But it was so cool. I was like humming along, and then people were speaking English while they were singing in Spanish too. And like in that moment, I just had to kind of like step back and be like, oh my gosh, like it's so easy to get caught up, you know, serving at Calvary Vista, going to school, going to work, and just like getting so caught up in that. And then I kind of just stood back and I was like, oh my gosh, like God is working in the heart of Mexico, and I don't even realize it because I'm so caught up in my everyday life. And so it was just so amazing to see that, even though most of us didn't speak the language, most of us couldn't even communicate. It was a completely different environment for so many people that went. God's still working over there, and he's able to take people with completely different walks of life and use them, and that was super cool. One more of my favorite stories that happened was we were to go paint this church, and it was so much fun. I had so much fun painting. We like got all over our clothes and stuff. However, after we painted, I really love ice cream, so I was like, you know what, we should go get ice cream after. So a bunch of us kids went inside the ice cream shop, and one of the guys who went with us, his name was George, and he's like, oh, I'll stay back. And like my heart in it was like nothing to do with God. I just wanted to get ice cream at the end of the day. And we come back in the car, and George was speaking to this random guy on the street. I think he was like a homeless man. And he was speaking to him, and when we came back in the car, he's like, that guy just gave his life to God. Like, he just completely surrendered his life. And I was like, eating my like guava ice cream. It was so good. And I got like 2 by the way. I was like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, well, he came up asking for money, and I basically told him I don't have money to give you, but like we're here on a missions trip. And the guy was like, what the heck? And just like started sharing God with him. And I was just in there getting ice cream, but I still think it's the coolest thing that like literally no matter where we are, like you're just able to share God. And I was able to see that on that trip, that no matter if it was just us playing soccer with people, like sharing God's love is everywhere, even in the ice cream shop. So what I want to encourage you guys is like literally just ask God, like, where do you want me and what do you want me to do while I'm there? Because I've never the type of person that wanted to go on a missions trip, but once I completely surrendered my life to God, he was like, no, I want you to go on a missions trip and just share your testimony. Be a light to people. You don't even have to like, oh, Jesus loves you. Like, literally just share joy with those people. And through your actions, they're going to see God. And so I just want to encourage you guys to ask God, where do you want me? Where do you want me to serve? And being in a situation like that, you're able to see like, oh, my life is not my own. Like, God wakes me up every single day to serve Him. And when you're living every single day to serve Him, like, it's so rad. You're able to see the coolest things ever. And it was just such a blessing to be able to serve with this team and, you know, all the way to Mexico, and there was far or not to you. It was super cool. And we got some good food, so.